tragic accident changed the course of his life forever. For most, it would have begun a life of discontent and wallowing around in self-misery. For Jonathan Nadeau, it kickstarted a new chapter of inspiration and appreciation. Even though he lost his sight permanently, he gained a passion to put creativity first in all areas of his life. And now he wants to encourage you to do the same. There are times when you'll be faced with a choice. Be crushed by the weight of the situation, or use the fresh start to rebound bigger, better, and more inspired than ever before. This is Tornado, stories of those who refuse to choose defeat and instead chose to embrace the storm. Here's your host, Jonathan Nadeau.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Embrace Your Storm. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jonathan Nadeau, your host as always. And yes, you got it. We've got another exciting episode. And don't forget, we have Foxwoods on August 26th, 27th, 28th, the Tornado Music and Film Festival. You are definitely not going to want to miss this because there's a lot of exciting stuff going on and some very interesting people are going to be there. So you're not going to want to miss this. And so today, we're speaking with Lisa. She has submitted Broken Branches. This is a great film, which it also leads into something else that's really awesome that she's doing, and we'll get into that very soon. But Lisa, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. So Lisa, before we get into Broken Branches, how did you even get involved into film? Like, what brought you to this medium for creation?
I came into filmmaking as a writer.
There you go.
Yeah, I've always wrote little stories, little poems and things like that, but I didn't know what to do with it, how to get it produced, even what I had. And so once I met a filmmaker and he explained to me the process of getting something out there, the copyright writing of it and just making a plan basically. And once I connected with this filmmaker, he helped me see, that I could do this, that it was a possibility. And he kind of, gave me a recipe for how to bring my show, Cooking with Munchies, how to get it produced. And so even after talking to him, I still was kind of hesitant. Can I do this? And then on January 1st, I remember he called me and he said, "You've got this. You can do it." And that was all the encouragement that I needed. And I started writing these episodes of Cooking with Munchies and went from there.
No kidding. So I love hearing that because you're just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this or whatever, but a lot of people are probably think like that. But man, just takes that one person, I guess, right? You got this, right?
One person.
Yeah.
That one person.
And you got encouraged, but you know what? At the end of the day, you still had to execute it though, and you did.
This is true.
Yeah.
And I'm used to being the person who encourages other people to follow their dreams. That's my role. So it was nice to have it come back to me full circle.
There you go. No, that's awesome. So you started writing Cooking with Munchies. Now, was that your first thing that you got actually involved with film creation then? It wasn't just the writing?
Yeah. So
Sure.
once I started writing Cooking with Munchies, I just started doing all kind of research. I went to YouTube College and
there you go.
and Google University and teach myself a lot of how to direct. I taught myself how to direct by watching some of the greats and listening to their pointers. And then producing was easy because I am the hostess with the mostest. I threw this luau for my best friend and I for 12 years in a row. And it was one of the biggest parties in Indianapolis. So I'm used to producing, finding locations and finding people and doing that. So that kind of came naturally to me. But yeah, just getting started. And then once I really got once I did Cooking with Munchies and decided I was going to do my next project, which was my feature. And I did a feature because I didn't know that usually you start with shorts when you are a new filmmaker.
Right.
No one imparted that wisdom to me. So I went full whole hog on this feature. And before I started filming the feature, I would go to other filmmakers and volunteer on their set. So
That's
I
cool.
could see some of the pitfalls and some of the things that worked and see what talent they used that worked and was dedicated to the project. So that helped a lot, and it started helping me get in to learn who the other filmmakers were at the time in Indiana.
That's really cool. That's actually a good tip, I think, is because one of the last interviews too. He spent a lot of time on set and other films and everything. And you were saying the same thing, like, hey, volunteer and hey, lend a hand and see what goes on. And that way, when it comes time for you to call the shots or whatever, you're not going to be caught off guard. I mean, you're going to get caught off guard anyways, but
that's going to happen.
Yeah, but you at least have some sort of idea of of what to expect,
And I know it's coming. I know something's coming.
Totally. Absolutely.
Right.
But
and it also gives you allies, because if you go volunteer on someone's set, they really are grateful for that. So they will be there, hopefully, in your time of need, even if it's just for information or advice or encouragement.
So now that you got involved with like the directing and producing, do you still like writing more, or do you like one of those other two more?
I would have to say I like writing more because I do it daily.
Oh yeah,
And it's something you can do daily, and you don't have to involve anyone else, and you can write wherever you are. And so writing is my first love, and my friend, and that comes from a family of writers. I come from a family of people who have written, but my grandmother wrote songs, and my mom and brother and my aunt would write letters to the editor and receive Golden Pen awards. But no one, and even my two daughters, they were celebrated in school for their writing capabilities. But no one had written a book in the family. Through all of this talent, in my immediate family, and I had other people outside of the immediate family who had written books, but I wasn't really close to them at the time, so it didn't resonate. But I was like, somebody needs to write a book. We have all of this talent. And then that's when my sister and I wrote a book called Shattered Perceptions. And I ended up writing the script for that. So that's another script that I'm currently shopping. But it's just just starting somewhere. You just have to start somewhere.
Exactly. No, exactly. So then what brought you to, well, I guess we have to actually talk about your concept, because Broken Branches is kind of like the second story within that kind of sort of series or whatever, right? Because you did the other.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess you'll have to talk about your tree series, which this is awesome. I love this concept.
Yeah. So it's trees. When I lived in Indiana, Fort Wayne to be more specific, which is where I was born and raised, I had this large picture window at my house, and I was looking out at this tree, and it was just a large tree in our front yard. And I thought, wow, this tree has seen so many changes in this neighborhood. I was thinking more specific to our neighborhood. And that's where the idea came from for trees. It's like the trees of the world have been watching the humans that inhabit this planet, and now they are telling the secrets of the humans.
So cool.
Yeah, so
cool.
It's all kind of, we have a treehouse blues, that damn tree, the sugar maple tree, old sprucey. So they're all in Broken Branches, of course, and they're all stories that either involve a tree or have tree in the title.
Yeah,
they're all life lessons. They're entertaining. The very diverse cast in different ones, but they all have a life meaning, basically, of how to treat people.
And I loved the more you talk about it and I hear you explain it, the more I can even see it encapsulates what you sort of compared it to, even though it's not this at all, but the Twilight Zone. Like,
Correct. Right.
yeah,
Right.
like the
Right.
Twilight Zone encapsulates.
Uh-oh. I think you muted yourself.
Sorry about that. I had a phone call.
Okay.
Hopefully we're still recording. But what I was gonna say is the Twilight Zone, where it doesn't necessarily have this, like, life lesson meaning thing, but they do have like a point within the
Right.
show. So exactly that, it encapsulates that for sure. Like, and it's I can you tell the audience about the first film that you did, I'm sorry, I forget the title, something
Cooper's
Plantation.
Plantation.
Yeah.
So one of the things about trees is when the show first comes on, there's a narrator who explains the story, kind of like how Rod Serling used to do. He would explain the story, but in this series, there's someone different. And sometimes they emerge from a tree, or sometimes they're just walking in nature with the
Oh
first
man, that's so
two.
cool.
And so with Cooper's Plantation, it's about a young girl who lives in the big house. She's a slave and she lives in the big house. And she thinks everything is wonderful because she doesn't have it like the slaves in the field. But there's a young man who fancies her and wants her to run away with him. But she has to decide if her life in the big house is better, or is it better to run away into the unknown? So this is very it grabs you, and that one actually you can see on YouTube. That
really awesome.
Cooper's Plantation is on YouTube. Yes.
Cool. I'll be watching that after we get off here. But yeah, so which leads us to Broken Branches, which is in the festival that's going to be at Foxwoods here in August 26th, 27th, 28th. So tell the audience like the synopsis of Broken Branches.
Broken Branches is about a woman who has raised this child, a young girl, since she was an infant, and it's her aunt's child, and her boyfriend are raising this child. Well, the aunt gets clean from drugs, comes back and wants to take the child from them and not even allow them to have a relationship going forward. And the girl is now 8 years old. And so this mother is going to do all that she can to keep her family together.
Wow.
And so the line from this story is ice cream makes everything better. And so I can't tell you what that means. And then I'll kind of give it away. But
no, exactly. That's perfect.
Everything better. Yes.
That's perfect. So again, I love the concept of your trees. Broken Branches is amazing. I'm going to watch the Plantation show after we get off this. And Lisa, is there anything else you wanted to mention? Is there any other projects you're working on or help you need with anything? Give a shout out to the world and see what comes back to you.
So I have a book also called The Final Round. It is The Final Round, round 16. It's about a man named Robert W. Lee. He's out of Jersey, and currently I think he's like 87, 88 years old. He's the first Black man to lead, and only Black man to lead a sports organization in the United States, which was boxing. And so he was really big in boxing and doing great things. And they decided to use him as a pawn to try to get to Don King. So many people who are familiar with boxing knows Don King.
Yeah, because of Mike Tyson and everything.
Outspoken, doesn't care what people think of him. And so they wanted Mr. Lee and his son to create a narrative about Don King to help them basically to kick him out of boxing and arrest him. And when they refused to do that, they went after him, Mr. Lee and his son.
No kidding.
Yeah, and so it's a story of injustice. And Mr. Lee had a fabulous life, including being a first Black police officer in this area. He worked in the boxing commission in New Jersey.
So is he no longer alive?
No, he's still here. I just talked to him the other day.
Oh, I thought you said had. That's what you're using.
Yeah. Well, he had he did all of this.
I see.
I worked with him to create his memoirs, and then we're working on a documentary. So the documentary is like 90% complete. We have to get it edited. We were trying to decide if we were going to add another famous boxer to the mix, but we do have Michael Spinks and Riddick Bowe are part of the documentary.
Nice.
So that's the next thing that will be coming out. And then I'm a writer. I have numerous scripts that I am looking to get produced. And
do you have a website or anything? Or
my website is lisamadewell.com, LisaMaydwell.com. Yes, and then you can find me on all platforms using my name, either going forward or backwards.
Yeah, and I'll put links in the show notes to all kinds of stuff too, so that way they can get the stuff that way.
And another thing that I didn't mention was that Broken Branches was made in Lithuania.
No kidding, that's cool.
Yeah, I went to a film camp there, and my script was selected, and they put it, and we randomly got into groups. You picked from a box of DPs, a box for producer, a box for sound, and then we had so many days, a few days to make the film, edit it, and everything.
Wow.
And then the awards. We had an award with the community in a part of Lithuania, and Broken Branches won all but maybe 3 awards.
Wow, that's amazing. Even the story then of how it was made is amazing. Wow. That is so cool. Like, it's awesome to see people like you doing things like this and reaching levels like this. Like, it's cool when people are on the right path. Everything just kind of, I don't want to say everything falls into place because it's not all rainbows and unicorns, but you know, but it's nice to see things like that work out well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an assurance to let you know, like, you know what, I'm on the right path. You know?
Exactly. Yes, and just surrounding yourself with positive people and people in the industry and networking are how you can continue to push forward.
And you know what? That's how we end the episode. That's exactly it. Wise words, Lisa. So everyone, again, you'll check out Broken Branches at Tornado Music and Film Festival. Foxwoods is going to be August 26th, 27th, 28th. There's going to be a lot of awesome people there. Hopefully, Lisa's going to be up there. Everyone that we've talked to so far is coming up, Lisa.
Yes, so, I'm doing my best to make it there.
All right. So there you go. You have 4 months. You have plenty of time. So there's going to be no excuses. But everyone, thank you for listening. Lisa, again, thanks for your time and coming on. We appreciate you so much.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much.
And everyone, thank you for listening, downloading, and don't forget, embrace your storm. See ya.
Tornado with Jonathan Nadeau. If you haven't yet, please subscribe now so you're first to hear new episodes with more stories of inspiration about the highs and lows of life and how embracing the storm is so much more fulfilling of a life than being crushed by the weight of the world. And until then, we hope you're inspired to do something, whether it's creating, participating, or learning, whatever leads you to your personal passion.